What's up, guys? This is Corey with Toothless Reptiles. Wanted to do a quick video here of a basic earless monitor setup. There's a couple of rules of thumb here. Basically, you want to have running water. You're going to need an ambient air temperature and water temperature to be around 80 to 82 degrees. You're going to need to maintain about 90% humidity. And basically, if you have the tank covered up enough to where you're maintaining 90% humidity, your ambient's going to be pretty close to the same as your water temperature. So if you can heat your water to 80 degrees, to 81 to 82 degrees, your ambient's going to stay around that temperature. You can see on this particular setup, I have a Flubel FX6 filter running with the pump turned down, so it's not running at full speed. Let me pull the top off of this real quick. You can see the water temp on the left and the ambient on the right, so it'll kind of vary throughout the day, but the water temperature is around 82.6 degrees right now, and the ambient's around 78.8, so play with your temps to get them right. These ones happen to be a little off at the moment. So let's take a look at the cage setup. So this is actually a plexiglass top that sits on top of the cage just to hold in humidity. Let me remove this real quick. So now that we got the top off, I can show you the inside of the cage. So as you can see, a couple of things you're going to need inside the cage. You want natural colored stone. For the aquarium, you're going to want to vary the depths of the water. So if you look down here on the side, the depths change. There's lots of shallow shelf areas and then some deeper areas, and there's also guppies in there, which they will eat every so often. Mostly they'll eat earthworms and bloodworms, and they'll eat pretty much every other day or every 2 days. The little hatchlings, you're probably going to have to cut up their worms and feed them to them by hand. You're going to want a piece of slate in there, or a rock, and lots of moss. This is all moss that's been buffered with clean water to rinse it all out, and then a piece of slate. They'll end up burrowing underneath this, getting under there. They're going to end up burrowing a lot. And then you have the outlet of the Flubel over here, and there's kind of a low point filled with moss over here, and this is all above ground, so that's all out of the water. So they have a high point, and then the slate area, and there's a 100-watt heater in here keeping the water temperature right. And then on your inlet, you're going to want to cover that with some type of foam so they don't get stuck in there. They probably shove themselves in between the foam and the wall. Make sure you have enough hides, and that's pretty much it. You just want to make sure you've got running water, ambient air 80 to 82, water temperature 80 to 82, maintain a humidity of 90% at least. Lots of hiding spaces. These guys are nocturnal, so they will move around at night, not necessarily too much during the day. If you're going to feed them during the day, or even feed them at night, you're going to probably want to put a red filter on their flashlight so you don't bug them too much. And then make sure you got rock, moss, and slate in there, and feed them night crawlers and bloodworms. We've seen them feed other things, but for us, we recommend night crawlers and bloodworms, more of what they get in the natural environment. So that's pretty much it for your earless monitor setup. Keep feeding.